Namaste, my name is Jyoti Dhaya and welcome to Learning with JD. Hi guys, welcome back to yet another session with Learning with JD. We are preparing for our examination. So let's begin. So in the previous session, we started talking about the initiating group, and in this session, we are going to talk about the planning process group. Now the planning process group is where the exact work of the project manager begins. Now that's one of the most critical and the most crucial process group. Of course, all of them are, but while you talk about the planning process group, the success of every project depends upon how well the project was planned, and the entire responsibility of the planning is on the shoulders of the project manager. So you have to make sure that you are completely efficient while you're planning your project. And we're going to see the entire planning process group. Before we start the planning process group, I request you to go back and clearly understand the initiating process group, because that's very important for you to proceed. There are a lot of concepts that we cleared in the planning in the initial. So there are a lot of concepts that we cleared in the initiating process group, which will now be carried forwarded in the planning process group. So what are we going to cover today? Of course, the key activities that needs to be performed during a planning process group. Alright, so what is a planning process group? It consists of those processes. So you know, in every process group there are certain processes that are performed. Okay, so planning process group consists of those processes that establish the total scope of effort, what needs to be done to get the deliverable. So the total scope of the effort are defined and refine the objectives and develop the course of action required to attain those objectives. Has the work begun till now? No. Has the planning begun right now? Yes. Please remember one word which is known as how. HOW is how. How the work will be done, how you're going to analyze risk, how will you respond on the risk. Everything that defines how is mentioned in the planning process group. Everything, whatever has to be done, will be written in the planning process group. Who you have to communicate to, what is going to be the quality standards, has to be as a part of your planning. So no work is done right now. The execution of the project doesn't start. You are only planning how you will execute the project. All right. The group developed a component of the project management plan. Here is your project management plan is developed and the project documents. So I told you in the previous session that there are two key documents that are created: the project management plan and the project document. Both these key documents are created during the planning process group. The project management team. So there is a project management team that works on the planning process group. Now this may be different from that of the project team. Understand, there will be two terminologies that you will often hear: project management team and project team. Project management team is the team that works on the planning of the project, which means that how the execution of the project will be done. And the project team is the team that actually works on the execution of the project. Thousands of labor required to build a flyover. That is a part of your project team. But how the flyover will be created is prepared by the project management team. And the project manager is a part of both the teams. He's a part of the project management team as well as the project team. Alright. So the project management team seeks inputs and encourages involvement from the stakeholders. We saw this in the previous session while we spoke about the initiating process group, where how important the involvement of the stakeholder is while you are defining your project. So what the work of the project management team is to often have discussions with the stakeholder and check what the requirement is all about, Because as a project management team, do you know what needs to be done? Maybe not in that detail, you have to find out, right? So what you will do is that you will talk to the stakeholder. While the planning stage itself, if involvement of the stakeholder is done, it is much easier for you to create a project management plan and the project document, and also define the success of the project. So these are a very important aspect that you need to keep in mind, that stakeholder involvement is very important at the time of planning itself. Because you identify the stakeholder at the initial stage, you will be able to involve them during planning. So there are 24 total processes. Now these 24 total processes are a part of the planning process group of the 10 knowledge areas that we have. We know there are 10 knowledge areas, right? So let's see all of them. So in today's session, we are going to see all of them at a very high level. The understanding of all these processes should be very clear to you. We will go into the deep diving of each and every process when we understand and when we start the knowledge area wise understanding. But right now, while we are studying only the planning process group, we will understand what the definition of all these processes are, so that while you are studying in future about the knowledge areas, it's going to be easier for you to understand. All right. The first knowledge area is the project integration management. Now, what do you mean by the word integration? Integration means getting everything together, right? Creating a wholesome of something. So the integration management plan, so the project integration management knowledge area is mainly used for getting all the knowledge areas together. And hence, the first process of the planning group is to develop a project management plan. Now, project management plan is nothing but an aggregation of all the subsidiary management plans that are created at the knowledge area level. We'll see all of them, right? The first one starting being scope. So if you see, the first process is always going to be of that of the knowledge area. For example, the project process management will have plan scope management. The cost management project cost management will have plan cost management. Yeah. So similarly, we are going to create subsidiary management plan of all the knowledge areas. You get all of them together, staple it, keep it in the file. That is nothing but your project management file. All the subsidiary management all the subsidiary management plan and the baselines create your project management plan. All the other documents like your traceability matrix, your risk register, your stakeholder register, your quality matrix, your basis of estimation, everything goes into the project document. We will understand this in quite detail when we reach there, while we talk about the knowledge areas. Yeah. So the first one is develop project management plan. When we talk about project scope management, the first one here is plan scope management. Now, has the work begun? No, you are only planning. What do you mention in the plan scope management? You mention as to how you will plan your scope. How you will collect requirement is a part of the collect requirement process. You are here actually collecting the requirements. You define your scope. Where you actually define the scope, you write your business requirement document, you write your product requirement document. That is your defined scope. Then you create the WBS, that is work breakdown structure. These are all detailed processes. When we talk about knowledge areas, we are going to talk about this in quite detail. For now, you just have to understand the essence of that particular process. Yeah. So these are the 5 at the initial first two knowledge areas. Coming next is schedule. In schedule, we have 5 processes. First being by default plan schedule management. Then you define activities, you sequence the activities, estimate the activity duration, and you develop the schedule. Then you will finalize on the cost. So if you see, all the things are coming sequentially. There will be certain things that will be done parallelly also, and there will be certain things that will be overlapping also. You will create the scope, and then you will create the schedule, and then the cost. While you do the cost, you realize you do not have a budget for such a long project. You go back on the schedule and you make the changes on the schedule plan. So all these things, planning is an iterative process. That comes a 1 mark question for you. Planning is an iterative process. It will always keep on changing. Till when? Till the execution has not begun. The time the execution begins, your planning stops. After the execution has begun, all the changes has to go to the change control board. All right. So that's about the scope and schedule. After scope and schedule comes cost. Again, in cost, by default, the first process is to plan the cost management. Again, in plan cost management, you're going to write how you will estimate cost, how you will determine cost, how will you monitor your cost, how will you control the over budget thing which is happening. Everything related to cost and how you will manage will be a part of the plan cost management. Then comes the quality. How will you manage your quality comes as a part of the plan quality management. So if you see all these subsidiary plans, the plan quality management, plan cost management has an output of a management plan that will be combined together to create a develop project management plan. It will be a part of that integration process group. Then comes resources. While you talk about resources, first thing by default is plan resource management. How are you going to plan your resources? From where are you going to get the resources? Understand, resource here is not only humans, it also includes non-tangible things like your infrastructure, your warehouse, your raw material, your machineries, the tools, everything comes under resources. Then comes the project communication management. Very important. The main role of a project manager is to communicate. You plan your communication. You can't just be sending reports to anybody who asks for. If that person's name is not mentioned as a part of the plan communication management, that person will not be allowed to access the reports of your project. Or if you have to send a report to somebody or you have to update about the variance of a project to somebody, you have to do it through the plan communication management process. It has to mention what is the hierarchy of the people, who is accountable for what, who is responsible for what, with whom you have to consult, with whom you have to inform. That is what is known as RACI. RACI, responsible, accountable, consult and inform. So that gets a part of your project communication management. Then comes your risk. There are 5 processes under the risk management plan knowledge area. The plan risk management. You have to first plan. What are you going to plan? How are you going to identify the risk? What are the qualitative and quantitative analysis that you're going to do on your risk? And when the risk occurs, what will be your response? So all these are a part of the risk management plan. And the last 2 being procurement and stakeholder. While you talk about procurement, again, there will be certain entities that you will be hiring from outside. Not necessary that you will be creating everything in-house. So plan procurement management. With whom are you going to consult? Who is going to be a third party? What is the eligibility of the third party? Is everything going to be a part of your plan procurement management? And the last one is your plan stakeholder management. How are you going to manage your stakeholder? What are the type of communication threads that you will have with the stakeholder? At what all level will you have to keep your stakeholder involved in the project? And how you're going to use the influence on the project is a part of your stakeholder management. So all these are a part of the plan stakeholder management. Got that? Now let's see what is the understanding of all these processes in a little detail. Not completely, but you will understand what the essence of that process is all about. See, it's important for you to understand from a knowledge perspective and from your examination perspective as well. All right. So the first process is that develop project management plan. This process is defining, preparing, and coordinating all plan components and consolidating them into an integrated project management plan. As I told you, there is no separate creation of a project management plan. All the subsidiary management plans that you are creating along while you go ahead with your project, that is a part that gets together and forms your integrated project management plan. We often call it as PMP, the project management plan. So when you prepare and you coordinate all the plan components that have been created and you consolidate all of them, it creates your project management plan. Now, when we talk about scope, it's a little larger scope here. Scope has four key components: plan, scope, management. Creating a scope management plan that defines how the project and the product scope will be defined, validated, and controlled. See, it talks not only about the project, but it also talks about the product that will be created. The product is the outcome, right, of whatever work you're doing during your project. So it also talks about the product scope. If you have to create this entire mall or you have to create only a garden area, that is the scope of your project. And it has to define, validate, and control. Everything will be mentioned as a part of the plan scope management. Collect requirements. Collect requirement process helps you determining, documenting, and managing the stakeholder needs and requirements to meet the objective. What are you going to do as a project manager? You have to collect what the requirement of the stakeholder is. Ultimately, that is what needs to be built, right? That's a detailed and an exhausted document that gets created. We also call that output document as requirement document. And there are requirement traceability matrix also, which also states that this requirement was given by which stakeholder. That traces down the requirement of the stakeholder. So determining, documenting, and managing the stakeholders' need and requirements to meet the objective. Now, after creating all the requirement of all the stakeholders, you define your scope. Develop a detailed description of the project and the product. Not only of how the project will be done and what needs to be done, but also what the output of the product will be. At some times, some of the stakeholders may also ask you to create a small prototype of the product at the planning stage itself as to how it will be looking. And it's always better because you get a verification from the stakeholder. Yeah. Then you have to create WBS. What is WBS? It is work breakdown structure. So all the information that you have collected in terms of collect requirement, then you define the scope. After defining the scope, you break it down at small manageable deliverables, subdividing project deliverables and project work into smaller and more manageable components. Let's take an example. A full mall needs to be created, right? That's your requirement. Your scope gets that, okay, a mall along with a parking lot needs to be created. And a WBS, work breakdown structure, is first floor, second floor, third floor, the the parking lot, the garden area, all that is a part of your work breakdown structure. It is more manageable component. It is into a smaller part. Then comes the schedule. Plan schedule management establishes the policies, procedures, and documentation for planning, developing, managing, executing, and controlling the project schedule. If you see, it calculates, it takes into account all the four aspects. You first plan, then you're developing, then you're managing, executing, and controlling. All five, in fact. I wanted to take executing and controlling under one, but these are two different aspects. So all the five, as to how it will be done, what are the policies around that, everything will be documented under the plan, schedule, management. Then comes the define activity. What do you mean by defining the activity? Now you have defined your scope. Okay, you know what your scope is all about. Now you identifying and documenting the specific action to be performed to produce the project deliverable. What needs to be done? What is the specific action that needs to be performed to produce the project deliverable is a part of the define activity. What needs to be done is part of define activity. And then you need to sequence your activities also. There will be scenario that you've mentioned all the activities. There will be like thousands of activities that needs to be done. But what is the dependency and what is the relationship between two activities is something that will be a part of the sequence activity. So while we study the knowledge area wise, schedule, cost and scope and all, you will understand that how define activity, sequence activity, all these are a part of one flow. Yeah. Sequence activity, identifying and documenting relationship among the project activities. Then you have to estimate the activity duration. How much time each activity will take. Understand, we are under the knowledge area of schedule and we are planning our process right now. We are under the planning process group. So you do your scope, then you do your schedule. Under your scope, what you've done, you've defined your activities. Sorry, under your scope, what you've done, you've defined your scope. Under the schedule, you are going to define your activity, each activity at a lower level. Then you sequence your activity, which needs to be done first, then second, and then third. After scheduling, after sequencing your activity, you will estimate the activity duration. How much time, the estimate number of work period needed to complete individual activity with the estimated resources. You have n number of resources, you have this much of activity that needs to be done. What will be the number of work periods? The time. How much time will be taken to complete a particular activity? Yeah, that's all about schedule. Another aspect of schedule is now you develop your schedule. So till the time that you're defining your activity, sequencing your activity, now you develop your entire schedule. Analyzing activity sequence, duration, resource requirement and schedule constraints. There can be a possibility that there are schedule constraints as well. To create a schedule model for project execution and monitoring and controlling. So here at this point of time, you are only going to create what will be my model, what will be my schedule model, which I am going to use for execution and monitoring and controlling. Got that? All right. Now comes our cost part of it. Now while we talk about cost, what is the first thing that comes into our mind? Plan. How are you going to get the money from? What, and first of all, how much money do you need? What is the estimate for your project? What is the budget for the project? How are you going to monitor it? And very important, how are you going to control it? You get the project budget approved also, but you have to monitor your project all the time. You cannot be losing the entire project budget at the initial phase itself and then at the later stage have nothing left. So plan cost management, defining how the project cost will be estimated, budgeted, managed, monitored and controlled. Got that? The next one comes as estimate cost. Develop an approximation of monetary resources needed to complete the project work. How much is the resource requirement and what is the actual money? The monetary resources, what is the actual money that will go into the project? You have to estimate those costs. There are various ways of estimating the cost. We will see all of them when we talk about cost as the knowledge area. Right now we are just doing at a very high level. I just want you to understand what the processes are. Then you determine the budget, aggregating the estimated cost of individual activity or work package to establish an authorized cost baseline. Your cost baseline is created as a part of determined budget. Cost baseline is also a part of the project management plan, like schedule baseline, like scope baseline. Yeah. Then comes our quality. Quality, as I said in the previous session also, quality is extremely difficult to define because here the requirements of the quality should be measured very clearly. Identifying the quality requirement, the standards for the project and its deliverables, and documenting how the project will demonstrate compliance with quality requirement and or standards. It has to be defined, it has to be clearly mentioned as the part of the plan quality management, as a part of the planning process group for quality. This is the only process that we have to have. That we have to define it very clearly, that what are the standards that will be used. Is it going to be ISO 8583 or 20022? What are going to be the aspects that needs to be, what are going to be the aspects that needs to be considered for monitoring and determining the quality standards. Then comes resources. Plan resource management. Again, I told you resources not only require about the team resources, but it also talks about your warehouse, the raw material, the infrastructure. Okay. So defining how to estimate, how will you estimate your resource requirement is also important. You can't just get up and say, I want 1000 people. No, you need to have a basis of estimation, right? So defining how to estimate, acquire, then manage them also. You get them also, but you need to manage and utilize physical and team resources. Your team resources are your human resources. Your physical resources are all your other non-tangible resources. Yeah, and your tangible resources also, right? Your warehouse, raw materials and all that. Then comes your estimate activity resource. Estimating team resources and the type and the quantities of material, equipment, supplies necessary to perform a project work. Everything that is required to complete your project work comes under the activity resources, which means estimate activity resources. You have to estimate the activity for each resource, or you can call it the other way, that you need to estimate the resource for each activity. Got that? All right. Then comes your communication. What comes under communication? As I already told you, the job of a project manager is to continuously communicate. So plan communication management, very important for a project manager and for all the stakeholders. If somebody's name is not a part of the communication management plan, that person is not required to receive a particular document. Developing an appropriate approach and plan for project communication activities. How will the communications happen? Based on the information needs of each stakeholder. Each stakeholder's need of a particular update is different. Every group may not want to know everything which is happening on the project. A finance team would only want to know how is the budget happening. They would not want to know what is the quality update, right? Available organization assets and the need of the project. It only depends upon what the need of the project is, and accordingly you will be creating the communication management plan for each stakeholder. Yeah. Risk. Again we said, is risk bad? Maybe not. There are two types of risks, threats and opportunities. As a project manager, it is your responsibility to identify both types of risks, to understand what is the opportunity for your project and understand what are the threats for your projects. The first one being plan risk management. As we already saw this before, we need to plan. We need to define how to conduct risk management activities for a project. Then you need to identify the risk. You first identify how you will do it. You define how you're going to do it. Then you will identify what are the risks. Identifying individual project risk as well as sources of overall project risk and documenting their characteristics. Now there can be certain risks which are associated with your project. A resource may not come, the cost may come down, the time may overrun. But there are some overall project risk as well. that the sponsor may change the requirement, the quality will not be met, something that you've asked from the vendor will not be delivered on time. Then comes the perform qualitative risk assessment. So there are two types of risk assessment that you do as a project manager. One is a qualitative risk assessment, second is a quantitative risk assessment. For a qualitative risk assessment, you will understand that what are the analysis, you will be prioritizing the individual project risk for further analysis or action by assessing their probability of occurrence. You will just try to understand what is the probability of an occurrence of a risk and what will be the impact along with the other characteristics. Along with that, you will try to do a risk analysis. However, for a quantitative risk analysis, you will try to define a numerical analysis for all the combined effort of identified individual project risk and other sources of uncertainty on overall project objectives. So both the analysis risk that you are going to do is going to be on the project risk. On the overall risk, there's less control that you have as a project manager. The project risk is the risk in which you have a control as a project manager, and hence for a qualitative risk assessment you will try to prioritize that and just try to understand what is the probability of the occurrence and the impact of it. While you're doing a quantitative risk assessment, you will try to put a number to it, like a scaling to it. Within the number of 1 to 10, the probability is of 7 and the impact is of 2, or the probability is of 1 but the impact is of 9, right? So as a project manager, you have to look at both these scenarios very closely. Then comes the planned risk response. You have understood what the risks are, you have identified what the risks are, you've tried to do the risk analysis also, qualitative, quantitative. But will you just do all this and keep quiet? No. When the risk occurs, you will try to take a response. A response will be done, developing options, selecting strategy as to what your strategy is going to be, whether you accept the risk as is or you are going to share it with somebody, or whatever way you are going to manage your risk will be a part of the risk response. Again, let me remind you, while we are planning the process, has the work begun? No. The project work will begin only in the executing process group. Right now you are only planning. If the risk comes, what are you going to do? How are you going to manage it? What are going to be the responses to the risk, right? So developing options, selecting strategies and agreeing on actions to address overall project risk exposure as well as to treat individual project risk. So you will only have the response for an overall project risk if it comes, how you're going to manage and how you're going to treat your individual project risks. Then comes your procurement. Again, like for all the other knowledge areas we've done, we are going to plan the procurement management, documenting project procurement decision, specifying the approach and identifying the potential sellers. So why do you need a procurement management plan? Because you will not be able to do everything on your own. You will have to have a third party involved for either your providing warranty or providing some raw material or providing some finished goods, some quality check to be done. All this will be a part of your planned procurement management. The last one comes is the stakeholder. Again, you need to plan your stakeholder engagement. Are you going to just get up and go and talk to your stakeholder? No, that doesn't happen in a large project. You need to plan how you will be engaging with your stakeholders, and it's not only at the beginning of the project while defining the project. It is throughout the project. So that is the reason it is not called as planned stakeholder communication. It is planned stakeholder engagement. You have to keep your stakeholder engaged throughout. Okay, which means developing approaches to involve the project stakeholder based on their needs. There are things that we discussed in the previous session as well. What is the need of the stakeholder? What does he expect from you as a project manager? What is the level of interest of the stakeholder? Is he interested on your project for a success or for a failure? And what is the potential impact on the project? How much can a stakeholder impact your project? So you need to understand all this and you need to document all that. So let's see what are the things that we covered in today's session. Developing the components of the project management plan and project documents used to carry out the project is a part of the planning process group. Your project management plan and your project documents are the two key outputs of the planning process group. Imagine that this is an end of what you've been planning till now, and now from the next session onwards you will be executing your project. That means that the project work will actually begin. So it's very important for you to keep these two processes in your mind very clearly: initiating process group and planning process group. Yeah. The next important part is all the planning documents are here created. All of them are prepared. No planning document will be created once the planning process group is over. All the changes in the planning has to run past through the change control board. It doesn't rely only on the project manager anymore. It doesn't rely on the project manager anymore. Till the time the project execution has not begun, it is the control of the project manager to manage and make iteration in the planning process. Planning is an iterative process. But the moment that planning is over and the execution begins, the planning process are over. Then comes all the three baselines: the scope baseline, the schedule baseline, and the cost baseline. All the three baselines are prepared. The project manager's job is defined basis the baseline. You have to work within the boundaries of the baseline. So guys, I hope you liked today's session. That is it from my end. Do like, share and comment on today's video. If you have any queries, please feel free to write me a comment and I'll come back to you. We'll be starting on the execution process group in the next session. Till now, we've completed the initiating process group and the planning process group. Extremely important for you to understand the framework of PMBOK 6th edition. So guys, till then, keep studying, keep connecting, and all the best.